Hello guys, today we are looking at pre-calculus and we're again looking at the law of sines, and this I will say is probably the most tedious thing that you're going to find in the area of trigonometry, okay, because it's not a simple set of rules like it is on the law of sines. Remember what we did yesterday? We did like the side angle side, or we did the angle side angle. And when you have those, the law of sines is very, very what? Simple. Sine of A over A is sine of B over B is sine of C over C, right? And so all those homeworks you were able to do. But the problem is, if you have a case of angle, side, side, there is an ambiguity, and you have to figure out what it is. Because let's say that I give you this angle, right? I give you this angle. This is an angle, and then let's say I give you this side, okay? Let's say I give you this side, and then let's say I give you this side. Okay, and I don't tell you that angle, I just give you one angle. Well, there's different possibilities, right? This might not be long enough to make a triangle, right? It might not be long enough to make a triangle, or if it came back this way, it might be too long to make a triangle, okay? Or it might make a triangle like this, okay? It might make a perfectly right triangle. But if I gave you this side, like let's draw it again, okay? If I gave you this side and I told you it was L, so I give you this angle, okay, and I give you this side, and I give you this side, so angle, side, side, and I tell you this side is this long. Do you see the picture I've drawn? Okay. What's the other thing that could also be true? Like it with a leg this long, what else could have happened? It could have been over here, right? This is also L. So if I give you angle, side, side, I might have how many triangles? 2. I might have how many triangles?
3.
What? No,
3.
This would be, with this length, there would be how many? 1. Okay. So if it's longer than this, I would have 2 solutions. If exactly it makes a right angle, I would have how many solutions? 1. And what's the other one?
That's too short.
If it's too short, I have how many triangles? None. So you got to figure out, am I going to have 1 solution exactly? Am I going to have 2 solutions? Or I'm going to have no solutions? Okay, so this is, and this only happens when you're given the angle, the side, and the side. If you're given side angle side or angle side angle, you've got no problems at all. It makes 1 triangle, it makes 1 triangle exactly, and it makes 1 triangle perfectly. Okay, but this one, you have to figure out what you're dealing with. Okay, and so let me draw a picture, and let's label it, and then let me start by just telling you what the 2 cases are. Okay. Let me tell you what the 2 cases are. So, we're looking at the special case of being given what?
Angle, side, side.
Angle, side, side. And do you see what I mean? This angle is not between these 2 sides. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, let's look at a triangle. And let's say that we're going to call this A, we're going to call this B, we're going to call this C, so this would be little a, little b, and little c. Okay, so let's think of angle A. If A is less than 90, okay, and the second case that we're going to look at is if A is greater than 90. Okay, and remember, you're given, and let me show you what I mean by A. I'm given angle side side, so what am I given? A, and then what would I be given? B and A. Okay, so that's how you've got to set it up, that A is the non-included angle. Well, one thing is you can see I can't calculate B and C because I only have one, big B and big C, I can't calculate it because I only have one angle. So, first of all, you have to recognize what? You have to recognize that you have an angle side side, and you have to use these special rules, right? You got to recognize you got an angle side side, and you have to use these special rules. Then you have to figure out the angle I'm given, is it less than 90 or is it greater than 90? Okay? And so let's look at the case. In this case, what am I dealing with?
Less than 90.
Less than 90. Okay? So this is what you have to think of since it's less than 90. Okay, A. Okay. What happens, and also kind of make just an imaginary H. Okay, a height. Okay. What happens if A is less than H? Okay, if A is less than H, what happens?
If A is less than H, that would be no triangle.
No triangle. Okay, if A is less than H, you have no solution. You have no triangle. Because it doesn't matter what this angle C is. If A is less than H, it's just going to be dangling, right? No matter what the angle is, there's no solution. It's just going to be dangling. Okay? B. What happens if A is equal to H? If A is equal to H, what do you have?
A right triangle.
Yeah. One right triangle. Okay. Why would either one of these solutions kind of make us happy?
Because they're both easy.
Yeah. If it's this case, what do you say?
No solution.
No solution. If it's this case, you what?
Work it out.
Yeah, you know how to do it, right? If it's that case, you know how to do it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is the good news. This one. No solution. Solve as normal. Okay, now, in order to do this, you have to know what H is. Okay, what do you do? H is equal to what? H is equal to B, right, cosine of A. Right? This is the hypotenuse. Does this make sense? So what's cosine? So is this sine?
It'd be
So opposite. It's sine, right? Ben, is that what you were thinking?
I'm not sure what I was thinking.
Well, how do we get this? The sine of A is what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse H is equal to B times sine of A. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So, number one. Find H. And then check if it's this or it's this. Okay? So far, so good? So I say, if A is less than H, it's easy. If A equals H, I have a right triangle. What is the third possibility?
Possibility, you have two possible triangles.
Well, let's think.
If A is greater than H.
Okay, well let's think of another one. We'll get to that one. Okay, we'll get to that one. How about if A is greater than B? Okay. If A is longer than B, what do I know for sure?
You have two answers.
Do I?
No.
If this were longer, what would I have to do? Bring it out to here, right? So if A is greater than B, I know that I will always have what? Will there be a solution?
Yes.
Yeah, because I could just, no matter how long it is, I could just keep swinging it out until it hit C, right? Okay, so if A is greater than B, I have how many solutions? One. Because if it's this long, I can't swing it back here for a solution, right? So if A is greater than B, there is one solution. And how do I choose that one solution? Now you know let's say I've got a triangle like this. Okay? And nothing's 90. How would I solve that? The law of,
Science.
right? Law of sines. Okay, so first of all, I figure out what H is, right? Okay. If A, that opposite side, is less than H, I have what?
You have no solution.
I have no solution. If A equals H, I have
Just
One right triangle.
one right triangle. If A is greater than B, I know I have,
One solution.
and I solve it with.
The law of science.
So all three of these are the
Easy ones.
easy ones. All three of these are easy ones, okay? But this is the one that is tricky. Number D, the fourth possibility. And that is that A is greater than H. Okay, so A is greater than H.
So that means we have two.
Well, it depends. If A is greater than B, I would just have one solution. Okay. But if A is greater than H and A is less than B, okay. Remember, if A is greater than B, I always have one solution. But if A is greater than H, it's longer than H but shorter than B, what does that mean? That means I have two solutions. Okay, so this is B. Okay. And then this is A. So A is less than B. This is still H, right? A is less than B. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
But what could also happen? It could come out here. This would also be A. So you have this triangle like that, and you have this triangle like that. And A is the same, big A is the same, side B is the same, and side A is the same, and yet there's two solutions. Okay, so where does the problem come in for the case of what?
A is less than 90.
A is less than 90, and
A is greater than H.
and A is less than B. So you see, still you need to find out what H is to even get started on this, right? So the first thing that you always do is that. Okay. Does that make sense? So in this case, you have to find both cases, you have to find both solutions. Okay? Both solutions. Well, if you find one, what you can see is the amount that this is less than that is the same amount that it is over here. So usually if you find one, you can kind of figure out what the other one is. Like if I'm at, you know, like if this is 80 degrees, then the other one would be 90 plus 10, 100, right? It's equal around that that leg. So you can kind of figure that. Okay. Now let's look at case 2. Okay. The second possibility is A is what?
Greater than 90.
Okay, if A is greater than 90. And so this is one that would look like this. Okay? So this is A, like that. This would be little a, okay? And this would be, let's call this B. Okay? So again, this is angle, side, side. Okay, angle, side, side that you're given. Okay, so do you see this? So now we have the first case where A is greater than 90, and that is A is less than B. If A is less than B, what is true? If A is less than B, what is true?
If A is less than B, no solution.
There's no solution. Okay. Okay, what is the other possibility? A is what?
Greater than B.
If A is greater than B, A is greater than B, let me write this one in red. A is greater than B. Can you tell me what's going to happen if A is greater than B?
We'd have one solution.
One solution, right? It doesn't matter how long it is. If it's longer than B, you're always going to have one solution. And how do you get this solution? You use the law of sines. Okay, so let's kind of come up with a roadmap on every problem. You know, kind of like what do? The first thing we ask ourselves is what? Is A
Greater or less than 90?
less than 90? Okay. If so, then what? I calculate what?
H.
Then 2. What do I do?
Figure out which.
Is A less than H? Okay. Then I have what? No solution. Number 3 is A greater than B. I have what? One solution. Solve using like SOHCAHTOA, right? It's a right triangle. 4 is A greater than H and A less than B. If A is greater than H and A is less than B, then I have to use the law of sines and find 2 solutions. 2 solutions. Okay? So, this isn't hard, right? Every single thing I've shown you is easy, right? But why is the problem tedious?
You just have to go.
Yeah, there's like, okay, and then we're going to do the other one. Is A greater than 90? Okay? If little a is less than B, no solution. If A is greater than B, one solution from the law of sines. So how many different possibilities is there when you have an angle side-side? 6. First of all, you got to say, am I dealing with this or this? If you're dealing with this, it's either no solution or one solution. If you're dealing with this, you got to figure out where you are in here. Okay. Now, if I gave you a problem and just pointed here or here or here, if I pointed which box you were in, you could solve any of those, right? So what's the hard thing? Figuring out which box you're in. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So, let's leave this up here, like all those. Okay. And then remember that H is equal, for these you can kind of remember H is equal to B sine of A. Okay? So let's work some problems. Always draw your picture and always label it. Okay? So let's say that A is equal to 22, B is equal to 12, and A is equal to 42. Okay, so like if I have A here is 42, and that's A, okay, and then I'm given A out here is 22, and I'm given B is equal to 12, A is equal to 22, okay, and this A is 42. What's the first thing that I better figure out? Like, I don't know. I just threw this, right? Because I don't know. It could be really long. It could be short. But what do I need to know?
You need to know that A is less than 90 degrees.
Oh, no. Yeah, A is less than 90 degrees. You're right. So the first thing is, you know, you're right. I was thinking further down. You have to see that you're dealing with this case up here, right? So you're exactly right. Now, what is it that I need to know to move further?
You need to calculate H.
Okay. H is equal to 12 sine of 42. Somebody tell me what that is.
$8.03.
8.03. Okay, now which one of these am I dealing with?
You would be dealing with...
A is greater than everything.
Yeah, A is greater than B.
Yeah, so I'm dealing with this one, right? So that makes me happy. So what do I know the triangle looks like? This is 42, this is 12, and it comes out this way, right? Because A is equal to 22, B is equal to 12, right? So I'm happy. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
There's one solution. How do I solve that?
You do the law
Law of
of sine.
sines, okay? I think I would say sine of big B, which is over here, over B is equal to sine of A over little a. Okay? Now sine of B is equal to B sine of A, which is 42, over A. Okay? I'm going to come back up here, and then I'm going to say sine of B is equal to, what's B? 12 over, what's A?
A is 22.
22 times sine of 42, right? And then how do I get B? B is equal to sine inverse of 12 over 22 sine of 42. And somebody put that in your calculator, making sure you're in what?
You're in degrees.
Uh-huh.
That is 21.1.
That is 21, are you sure 21.1 or 21, what did you get?
It may be 21.2. No.
I got something almost that. What did you get?
I got 21.41.
Okay, 21.41. So B is 21.41. Now what's easy up here? C is what?
C would just, you just have to subtract the other two equals from 180.
Okay, and what do you get?
You do
So C is 180 minus 42 minus 21.41.
116.59.
116 point what?
59.
59. And that is very good. I agree with that. Okay, now what is the one thing that I still need? C, right? I need little c. I need this leg. Well, what do I know? Sine of big C over C is equal to sine of 42, right, that over 22, right?
Yes.
So this is A is equal to 22 over there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So C is equal to, I'm going to move the other C over, and so, let's see. So C would move over there.
So you have sine of C.
Sine of C, which is 116.59, okay, divided by sine of 42, and then this whole thing times 22. Would you agree? C comes over, 22 comes over, sine of C over sine of 42. Would everyone agree?
Why would sine of C equals
Okay, let's
sine of 42 is sine of A.
okay, let's try again. Okay, let's try again. So we're going to say, would you agree that sine of little c over big C is equal to sine of, what did we do here? A over little a. Sine C over C is sine A over A. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
It's more simply done if we just start it with C over sine of C. Like it's much easier to see.
Okay. It's the same answer, right?
Yes.
C, little c, sine of big C is equal to little b. Am I doing B? No, I was doing A, right? Little a over sine of A, right? So we're looking for C. C is equal to A sine little c over, sine big C over sine of big A. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, and that's the same thing that we had down here. So C is equal to 22 sine of
116.59.
116.59 over sine of 42. And what's that equal to?
29.4.
29.4. Okay. So all this is very straightforward, right? So far, this has just all been the law of sines, right?
Yes.
But what is it that you have to do? You have to ask where you are on this chart. And if you figure out where you are on the chart, then you will be okay. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now, how much time do we have?
13 minutes, I believe.
Okay, let me work a couple more. Who's going to be here tomorrow?
Y'all will.
Okay,
Tomorrow's Wednesday, correct?
yes.
I think I'm going to be at a debate tournament.
Okay, then you probably let me go ahead and give you the homework, all right?
All right.
The homework is uh, $18, $29, and 33. Okay, 18, 29, and 33, and the bonus is 34. This is Chapter 6, Section 1.
What?
Chapter 6, Section 1, right?
Isn't it
And this is kind of the same
No,
second
we're
day.
in the same section.
Okay?
What did you say the bonus was on?
The bonus is 34. So 18, 29, and 33. Okay. This will be due Thursday. Okay. So we might talk about this more tomorrow in class. Okay. But let's work some more examples now. So do you guys see that if you have this chart, you've got to have this chart, and you've got to work from this chart. And once you figure out what box you're in, then it all gets pretty easy, okay? It all gets pretty easy. So let's say A is equal to 15, B is equal to 25, and A is equal to 85, okay? So this is going to be 85, okay? Then this is A, and then this is A. And understand, when I draw A, I don't know how long to make it, so I'm just drawing it like that. And then B is equal to 25, okay? So angle, side, side. The angle is not the included angle. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
You have the angle, and then you have a side, and then you have a side. So what's the first thing that I should ask myself?
Is A greater than or less than 90?
So what is it?
It's less than 90.
So what am I dealing with? The case what?
Case 1.
Okay. Now I better figure out what is.
What H is.
Okay. H is equal to B sine of A. H is equal to what? 25 sine of 85. Okay, 25 sine of 85. Right? So what is H?
24.9.
24.9. So the fact H is 24.9, what am I dealing with?
A is less than H.
So what do I have?
No solution.
And we all go, yay, because we
Yay.
stopped it, right? Because this thing, no matter where you put it, it can't touch that line. There's no solution. Okay, there is no solution.
So then that's just our answer?
Yeah. Okay.
I like this.
I don't like it when we have no solution.
Okay, so tomorrow we will deal with the case, the dreaded case. Which is the dreaded case?
Less than H and greater than B.
Yeah, first of all, less than 90, and then A is less than H and greater than B. This is the dreaded case. So Ben, even as smart as you are, you have to watch the video, because I'm now to the one that's hard, and I will do that tomorrow, showing you how to do it. Okay? All right. Thanks, Tanner. You can shut the stream down.